Hey everybody, it's Jason from the Texas Gun Vault, and once again I'm coming to you with another range report. And today's range report is on another fine 2011 pistol. Today we're taking a look at the Atlas Gunworks Artemis. Yeah, take a look at that. Now, Atlas Gunworks is a maker of 2011 pistols that I think is honestly one of the best. I have reviewed a number of their models and have been consistently very impressed. And of course, with an impressive gun comes an impressive price point. And because of that, obviously, I have high expectations for this firearm. It better do something pretty amazing, because if you're going to pay what these things cost, it better make you a better shooter than what you actually are. But before I dive into the things that I like and don't like about this gun, as always, I want to thank the people that make these videos possible. First and foremost, the owner of this amazing pistol, who also lent the other Atlas Gunworks to the channel for review, and that is my good friend D. D, once again, thank you so much. I want to thank my Patreons, as always, because through their monthly donation and support, they help keep the lights on around here. You guys know my constant battle with YouTube and monetization, and they go a long way in helping me do all these range reports. And as always, the person that supplies all of the ammunition for these range reports and makes them financially feasible, my primary sponsor, my good friend Mark from Brownworks. And once again, I'm here to say that if you like high-end, fine firearms like this Atlas Gunworks, well, you probably have a fine collection of pistols yourself, and those pistols probably take fine wood panel grips. And I have the perfect company for you if you're looking for something that is custom and one of a kind. And that company is Brownworks. Brownworks is a custom grip company making a wide variety of grips for a wide variety of pistols out of a wide variety of exotic woods and materials. Mark over there is an artist. He's a craftsman. He can put on custom logos, custom engravings. He can make grips out of laminate woods. He is always innovating, coming up with new things, new designs, and creating grips for new guns. So I'm going to ask you guys to go over there, check out his website. And even if you're not in the market for grips, please go over there, see what he has to offer, contact him. Thank you for supporting Second Amendment channels like mine, because trust me, we couldn't do it without him. But I guarantee you, if you look at his website, you're going to find something you like. And as I always tell you, Mark is a busy guy creating custom grips for his customers and not always updating his website. So if what you're looking for is not there, please contact him. I guarantee you he will hook you up. He has some of the best customer service in the world. And when you do contact him, please tell him the Texas Gun Vault sent you. All right, so let's talk about this amazing pistol. Once again, we're taking a look at the Atlas Gunworks Artemis, and I just like the name. Yeah, it comes from Greek mythology, just like the word Atlas does, and all their models come from Greek mythology. Plus, the Artemis is the name of the program that is used by NASA to help send us back to the moon and land astronauts on the moon. So we have the Apollo program, and now we have the Artemis program. I know the two are completely unrelated. I just like the fact that they're both named the same thing. So obviously, this is a 2011 pistol. It is made of stainless steel. And as compared to other 2011s, this thing is definitely beefy and heavy. It does not have a compensator on the front, but it does have that weight on the end of the barrel. And according to their website, this is an IPSC standard pistol. So I'm not a competitive shooter. It's something that I've never really been interested in, mainly because in my professional life, everything is a competition, and the last thing I want to do when I go to the range is compete. I just want to go and enjoy awesome and cool guns. But if you understand the nomenclature of those competitions and know what a standard pistol is, I'm sure it has to fit in a box and have certain features. Well, that's what this particular gun is. So some people are going to say, well, since you're not a competitive shooter, can you really review it? Well, I like to think I can. I'm an average gun guy, and I want to do a review for average gun people. Some people can afford a pistol like this, and they're going to be like, well, I'm not a competition shooter, but I want something really nice. Is it going to work out for me? And that's what I'm here to try to help you figure out. So let's talk about the things that I like and don't like about this pistol first. And honestly, I think I've already talked about the main points. The first one is, it's an Atlas. And let me tell you, I've shot a lot of 2011 pistols, and I honestly think Atlas Gunworks is one of the premium, not just because of the price point, but because of the quality of the guns that I have shot. I'm always amazed at all of the little detail work that they put into these as compared to other companies. Atlas makes a unique product. Some of the other 2011 companies just look like every other 2011, but I really think Atlas goes above and beyond. Their models are always different. They're unique, and I do like that. I like the aesthetics. I like the fact this model is in stainless steel. Man, that makes it so easy to clean, and it's very attractive. And I also think because of the material, it would be a little bit more scratch resistant than, let's say, a different finish. So if you're going to run this kind of hard, I don't think you have to worry about wearing out the finish at all. I love the way that it looks. I also like the fact that this particular model is non-compensated. Now, a lot of people are going to say, hey, the compensated 2011 pistols are awesome. And I do agree. They're nice to shoot. But this thing is a 9mm. It is a really heavy pistol. So I don't think you need a compensator on this at all. All that's going to do is put a little bit of flash in front of your red dot, which could distract you in a competition. A gun like this doesn't need a compensator. There are certain pistols that I think work well with them. A 2011 just is not one of those in my personal opinion. I also like the fact this has a metal frame. Some of the 2011s that I've reviewed have the polymer frame, and usually that's for weight, but they also feel a little bit cheaper. Come on, if you're going to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, I don't want a polymer frame. And there's nothing wrong with polymer frame guns. I absolutely love them. I love HK. But when you're buying a gun like this, it's got to be metal. Now, some people are going to say it's going to add a lot of weight, and that's actually one of the things I don't like about this pistol. It is a full-size 2011 with that weight on the front and the metal frame. It is heavy, but I like the fact it is metal. Some people may like that, and some people don't. The last thing I really like, which I also think is par for the course for most of these 2011s, is the slide that is milled out for an optic. Man, if you're going to run a gun like this, you got to run an optic. And D, the owner of this pistol, has put on another Trijicon SRO. I think he has bought every Trijicon SRO in the Dallas-Fort Worth area because every pistol he owns has one of these things. And they are awesome. And they have great visibility, and that window is gigantic. All right, so now let's talk about a couple of things about this pistol that I don't like. I've already alluded to one, the weight. This gun is really heavy for what it is. Now, you're going to get a lot less recoil because of that, but if you're having to hold it up for a while, it is a little bit tiring. This also has a very aggressive grip texture on it, a little bit more aggressive than normal. Now, you guys know that I don't want to say I'm grip sensitive necessarily, but sometimes when it comes to the checkering or the type of stippling you have on the grip, if it's just too much, it actually kind of hurts after a while. This has a little bit of a triangle pattern to it, and they are very sharp. So if you're going to run this, I might suggest using some shooting gloves. I had no problem shooting it with my bare hand, but you kind of feel that it's not the most comfortable grip in the world. Now, you're not going to drop this thing. If your hands are oily or sweaty, it's going to be a great texture. But for just casual enjoyment at the range, I actually think it's a little bit too much. The last thing that I don't necessarily like is something I complain about on many 2011 pistols, and that is the controls, especially the safety, are too big. Yeah, they are just too big. They kind of get in the way. Now, I understand why you want a big old safety on that. Some people ride those safeties as a speed pedal, I think they call them. Plus, you want to be able to access that safety really quick. But for me, they're honestly a little bit too big. I don't know why they're that big, but yet they keep a standard-sized slide stop, which is not easy to get to, but they give you this gigantic safety lever. Yeah, I just don't like that. I just wish it was more of a standard size safety lever. They work fine. Having an extended one is perfectly fine, but these are just too big in my opinion, and I know that is a personal preference. All right, so now let's get this thing to the range. Let's see if this thing shoots like the multi-$1,000 pistol that it is. Is this thing gonna make me into an expert marksman? Well, it better. Well, let's find out. I'm gonna load up one of these magazines, and as always, these things are a big capacity. I believe this is 20 or 22 rounds, but we're gonna see what happens at 7 yards with my first shots. So let's just see what happens, and if I discover anything about this pistol that I like or don't like beyond what I already know. All right, and this pistol shoots like I would hope it would. Very, very accurate. I noticed shooting it too that this trigger face is pretty nice. Normally I don't like those flat face triggers, but this thing actually has a slight curve to it. You can see on the top and bottom there, it does have a little bit of curve, and that's actually very comfortable. And flat face triggers are actually pretty good on 1911 style pistols for me because that trigger bar comes straight back. It's not hinged, so I have no problem with that. And yes, I can feel that grip texture a lot when I'm shooting. But let's talk about a couple of things that I did notice. Number one, this gun has weak ejection. And I did notice this when I was charging the gun at the range. Normally when it comes to these 2011 pistols, these slides run like butter with very little resistance. And I think this slide does that, with the exception of one thing. The recoil spring on this thing feels a lot more stout than on other 2011s I've shot. Yeah, it's really different. I'm used to almost having no resistance whatsoever, so I kind of feel like the spring weight on this is heavier than other 2011s. Is it done that way on purpose in this particular model? I don't really know, but that might be what's causing some of that weak ejection. Now, some of you guys are going to ask, what ammo are you using? I am using Federal 115 grain. So this is typical range stuff. It's supposed to be going down range pretty darn quick. So that's what I'm using, and I'm just having those slight ejection issues. The other thing that I did notice at the range, and I didn't always catch it on camera, is the slide stop. So it seems to stick a little bit. So if I inserted a loaded magazine, which obviously this is an empty magazine, and then I would pull the slide back, that slide stop, and as you can see right there, it's not going down. It's not letting me drop the slide. So I might have to kind of shake it a little bit, rack it kind of hard, and then it will drop. I'm not used to that. It's almost like this slide stop is not perfectly fit in this gun. And you might notice this in some of the other shooting portions of this range report. So this slide stop, I don't think is fitted perfect. And once again, when it comes to a gun of this price point, I am expecting close to perfection. But yeah, once again, if that slide stop is back like that, and of course, if a round was in the magazine, there we go. It took me 2 or 3 racks of the slide to get that thing to drop. So that, I think, is an issue. But the gun, obviously, is very accurate and shoots really well. So now let's set out the target at about double the distance, around 15 yards. I'm going to go for the head on the silhouette target, see what happens to this group, and if the accuracy continues. And what can I say? The accuracy on this gun is amazing. I gotta remember this one because sometimes when I shoot other pistols that I don't shoot very well, people say, oh, you're a terrible shot. You need to go get training. I need to show them this video. This gun is amazing. I'm telling you, the quality of a gun and how it's built can really affect its accuracy. Now, I know if you put most pistols in a bench rest and held it steady and took the human element out of it, they're all pretty darn good. But a gun that fits in your hand and shoots that well naturally and makes you a better shot than what you actually are says a lot about the craftsmanship and the design, and this gun definitely fits that bill. But now I am going to try to shoot this against a barrier. I call it bench resting, but it's not really. I'm going to set out the target now at 25 yards and see if I can continue shooting this thing with these amazing groups. Well, I still have not had a single issue. No failures to fire, no failures to feed, and no failures to eject. However, I'm still having weak and erratic ejections. Something else I am noticing, and this is going to be a really picky comment because I was really taking my time shooting this pistol. This trigger is not as refined as the other Atlas Gunworks pistols that I have shot. It almost has too slow of a reset, and sometimes I would feel, and this is a very fine point, a double reset or a false reset. Now, I don't know if I can duplicate that right here, but once again, when you're paying this much for a gun, I expect perfection, and I have never had an issue with the other Atlas Gunworks triggers. Now, this is still an exceptional trigger and better than any 2011 that's going to be in the $2,000 or $3,000 mark, or any 1911 that you may shoot. However, I have shot other very fine pistols like this, and this trigger is not quite the same. But I will see if I can duplicate it here. As I said, I know it's a very fine thing, and you just have to kind of trust me on this. So I'll go ahead and dry fire it. Let me reset it here, and I don't know if it's going to catch it or not. Okay, it did reset like it's supposed to, but just before it resets, you feel a little bit of grit, more than what you would expect. It almost kind of slows down on the reset. Yeah, that's actually pretty good there, but at the range, I was not getting the results that I wanted when it came to that tactile and audible reset and knowing where it was going to click. But obviously the trigger is great because the gun is shooting so darn well. Now, I want to give my wife, Becky, a chance to shoot this, and I already know she is going to hate this grip. She is very grip sensitive and doesn't like the textures on these 2011s if they're too aggressive. So that's something I already tell you she's not going to like. But I'm curious if she finds anything about this pistol that she really likes. After all, she has a fine taste in guns. Trust me, guys. You might not see it all the time, and I know she doesn't have a YouTube channel, but she knows a nice gun when she sees it. So I'm gonna load up another magazine, give her a chance to shoot it, and see what she has to say. And she obviously shot it really well. She did comment, that is a very accurate gun. She did comment also about how heavy it is. She does hate the grip, but you guys should also notice that those ejections were extremely weak when she shot it, and she was not limp wristing it. A few came back and hit her in the face or just kind of dribbled out the back of the gun. But we did not have any failures to eject or no failures to fire or failures to feed. But I wish that ejection issue would kind of resolve itself. I once again think it's too heavy of a recoil spring. All right, so the last test I want to do is the quick magazine change. Obviously, this is a competition gun, and granted, I am not a competition shooter, but I like to think I can shoot these guns kind of fast. So if I can shoot this gun fast, drop the magazine, get a new one in this thing, and shoot it fast again, well, I know you can probably do it faster and better. I'm just an average gun guy. But let me see how I do with the quick magazine change test, and then I'll give you guys my final thoughts. And man, can I shoot this gun fast. Yeah, and I think that's where this thing really, really excels. And once again, as an average gun guy, if I can do that, well, someone that trains and does the competition shooting, I know can do it a lot faster. But I'm really happy with how fast I could do that. And the gun stays on target because it is so heavy. And of course, this red dot is freaking awesome. So what are my final thoughts on the Atlas Gunworks Artemis? Man, this is a pretty darn sweet 2011. I've already talked about all the things that I like about it. The metal frame, it's full size, doesn't have the compensator, it's in stainless steel, but also talked about the negatives. The grip, I've had the issue with the slide stop. I had a slight issue with the trigger. I know that's kind of qualitative. It's hard to show you guys on camera. You just have to shoot the darn thing. And of course, I'm having the weak ejections. And so my thought on this is an amazing gun. I really do like it. It's very fine. It is well put together, well crafted. I really like it. But at this price point, I think the gun needs just a few tweaks and a few refinements. But who knows, it could be just this particular example. Remember, I only got one of these to review. I don't have 3, 4, or 5 to compare to. So maybe it's just this pistol, and if you own one, it is the greatest pistol that has ever been created by man, so don't get mad at me in the comments section below. I am just expressing to you my personal thoughts and experiences and opinions, and yours might vary. But because I feel like this needs a little bit of refinement, and I did have a few issues with it, I could only give this gun 4.5 stars out of 5. Still a really good review. And let's just be honest, this thing is very accurate for me. It makes me look like a better shot than what I actually am. So that's why I always want to give the thing 5 out of 5 stars, but I just have too many issues with it. But it is really nice. And if this was my personal gun, I'd probably try to work on those refinements and make the gun even better. So hopefully when D sees this range report and this review, he can tell me what he's going to do with it. I kind of would like to shoot it again in the future, depending on what he decides. But he may keep it just the way that it is. So that is my range report on the Atlas Gunworks Artemis. Another awesome 2011. What do you guys think? Do you guys like the 2011 platform? I know it's kind of the new hotness on the market now. They're really awesome. They're really popular. Lots of companies are making them. I want to know what you think, and more importantly, what you think of Atlas Gunworks and the Artemis in the comment section below. So, as always, thanks for watching.